On that topic, we will talk about examples with arrays. That is an array. If we name that array as A, we'll have indexes or positions 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because array index starts always by 0, 2, and -1. So in total we have here 8 elements. If we take as example students' averages, we'll have that is array A and type of elements is float. First questions that we need to find is find index of student with higher average. For that problem we need 1. A variable called maximum, 2. A for loop for array to test all the elements. For the second question, does the student with 8 index have an average higher than 8.5? For that problem we need a for loop or an iterative structure and 2. A variable called findIt that finds if we have 8 students. The third question, how many students are on average under 7? For that problem we need a for loop and 2. A counter to count the students. Maximum of array is students with index 2. We'll go, the students are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For the second questions, we'll go to the student 8 because we can take directly the average of student 8 and we'll say if 4 is higher than 8.8 will return true, but we have false here because the student with index 8 have lower than 8.5. And we'll now count how many students are under 7. 1, 2, and we'll say 4 students have averages under 7. First, we have to declare the array and to create it integer number s, that is declaration of number of students, integer I max, that we need to find the maximum, integer findIt equals 0, that serves to check if we have 8 students, or we can write bool findIt, and if we have 8 students it returns true. We'll get the number of students from the user. We have to declare the array. As we have average, we have float numbers. So float A and the dimension is number s that we declared before. We need a for loop to get the average of students and we'll say enter the average of %d student that will have for first student, second student, etc. And we'll say here I plus 1 to eliminate 0. The mask will be %f as we have float and a first question will say float a max equal a0. First we'll take that the average of the 1 student we'll say as a primary maximum. We'll say integer maximum is 0. First value of maximum is 0. Now we have to test all the elements with an iterative structures and we'll say for integer I equals 0 and I is lower than number of students, I plus plus. We'll now test and find the maximum of array. If AI is higher than A max, we'll say A max equal AI. We need to save the index or the position. I max equal I. End of if, end of for. Now I'll print the result to the user. Index of student with higher average grade %D, and we have here I max. Now we'll go with second question. We need again a for loop. If AI equal A8, we'll say find it equal 1. On that case, there are 8 students. End of 5th, end of 4. We can take directly the value of A8 or the average of the student 8. We'll say if is greater than 8.8, we'll say to the user, yes, student with index 8 have higher average than 8.5. Else, if find it isn't 1, that we don't have 8 students, we'll simply say we don't have 8 students. The last case, else, no, student with index 8 has not higher average than 8.5. Now we'll go with third question. We'll declare integer counter equals 0 for loop. We'll say if AI is lower than 7, counter equal counter plus 1. At least there are %D, student average under 7, and we'll print the value of counter. At least return 0. Now we'll compile our code and see the result. There's an extra break. Number of students, we'll say 8, and we'll put some random values. Index of student with higher average grade is 2, true. There's some problem. Yes, student with index 8 has higher average than 8.5. There are 4 students with average under 7. That is right. The problem is on second question. We'll see. Our problem is here because, as we said, numbers start from 0 to n minus 1. So numbers will start from 0 to 7. And we'll have A7, in fact, A7, file again, and we'll put the same values. And now we have the exact values.